But that, and to their own admission, gave them a messed up view of what the world is, of what even abuse is, and that can really, really mess you up. And that can mess up your view of what is right and what is wrong. Hey, what's crack? It's VangelinaSkov. I feel like with every new video that I do on this topic, I have to do another one because I left out key information, and that's just what happened here. In my last video, I did a full timeline of the drama or controversy, whatever you want to call it, surrounding Team Pinata and Nan, their host. If you want to catch up and you don't know what I'm talking about, then you can click here. It's somewhere. You'll see it. Click it. After that video, I had a lot of people commenting that they don't understand how Team Pinata could have done this, could have done these drawings of children. And a lot of people were saying that, you know, Nan and Team Pinata were victims of abuse themselves and victims of child abuse and things like that. So it doesn't make sense to them how they could go from being the victim to not quite being an abuser, because to what we know now, they haven't actually physically gone and hurt any children, but to being someone who displays predatory tendencies, let's call it that, because I don't know what else to call it at this stage. Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. That's really crazy. You all came out of nowhere, just flung yourselves at me. And I'm really appreciative to have you all here. I've been doing YouTube for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years at this stage. I think it might even be 4 years. Oh, okay, that's a long time. But I never thought that I was gonna have more than like 500 subscribers. Being that 2 days ago I had 440 or 442 or something like that, and now I have over 1,000. So that's really cool. There's so many of you here that are interested in my videos, and I just feel overwhelmingly grateful. I don't know what else I can say besides that, so just thank you so much. I do have other things I want to say surrounding that, but that'll be at the end of the video, so I don't bore you all with the details of my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, we live in a pretty sick world at times. People are hurt every day and traumatized every day. Children are traumatized every day. And in fact, that's actually how DID, or dissociative identity disorder, is formed. You need to have recurring trauma as a child in order to actually develop dissociative identity disorder. And what a lot of people think, and what is usually the case, is that victims can turn into very compassionate people, or sometimes just very cold people, but they stick to themselves. They wouldn't do harm onto another person, and that would make sense. They know how it feels to be hurt, and they don't want to do that to anybody else. But unfortunately, that's not always how the human brain works. Everybody's brain is a little bit different. Everybody has different ways of coping. There's environmental factors of what can happen to you even after your trauma, or whatever your trauma was. And the fact of the matter is, whereas there are many, many victims who go on with their lives and, you know, do their best to be good people or to just not be bad people, there are others that go on to become abusers themselves. Now, for the rest of this video, I'm not going to be talking specifically about Team Pinata. I'm just going to be talking generally, but you can take a lot of the information and sort of piece together why they might have gotten into CP and things like that, despite the fact that they were victims themselves. Think for a minute about that trope that they have in teenagery kind of movies where there's a bully. And the bully seems to have no motive for bullying the main character. They're just horrible people. They're just doing it for fun. But then things come together and it turns out that their parents are abusive. And that's why they're so angry at the world, and that's why they're bullying them, and then everybody becomes friends because they have to have a happy ending. I don't know. That may be a trope in movies, but that's something that can actually happen. When you're abused, especially as a very young child, your view of the world is warped. You've been thrust into this world of pain and anguish and trauma and despair that you never signed up for, but that's the one you're in. Just as many people are brought up with happy, loving families, that's what they consider normal. When you're brought up having, maybe not even necessarily your family, but having horrible things done to you as a child, that's what you consider normal, because that's the world that you're learning to exist in. That's the one that you're surviving in. Now later on, most people who go through this, thankfully, they learn that it isn't okay. And they learn that the world isn't like that, or they learn that they need to not hurt anybody the way that they were hurt. But some people have been so warped and so conflicted by their own trauma that they don't see a problem sometimes with some of their own questionable actions. And this is where I'm gonna bring in Nan from Team Pinata. They were abused as a child. That's horrible. And I'm sorry that that happened. But that, and to their own admission, gave them a messed up view of what sex is, of what the world is, of what even abuse is. And that can really, really mess you up. And that can mess up your view of what is right and what is wrong. So in order to continue with the world that they are used to, the one that they're, for lack of a better word, comfortable with, and the world that they know to be true, they perpetuate that either abuse or that wrong behavior. Now that is just one example of how this can happen. Like with a lot of things when it comes to psychology, there are a lot of different ways that this can happen. Another reason that there might be for becoming let's say an abuser, or again, just doing questionable things after you've suffered abuse, is because you feel like you want to have that power. You had that taken away from you at a very young age. There was nothing you could do, it was out of your control. The grown-ups and the big people did whatever they wanted, and you could do nothing to stop it because you were a child. Then, in some way, as an adult, your brain decides, I want to have that power. I'm the big person now. I can do whatever I want and nobody can stop me. I don't want to be a victim anymore. So they stop being the victim. I'm not saying that's what happened with Team Pinata, I'm just saying this is something that can happen. And I believe that often a lot of people that do this, it isn't a conscious decision. They're not thinking, oh, I want to hurt this person because I was hurt as a kid. They think in a way that what they're doing isn't wrong. Because again, their view of what's right and wrong has been warped. They don't really understand, no matter how much they think they do. Another issue that can arise is that although a lot of victims of abuse, first of all, they can take a while to accept the fact that what happened to them wasn't okay. And sometimes they can be in denial. And then in other cases, they can accept it, but they can use it to either just break down or to try and become stronger. But for a very, very small fraction of the people who accept that they were victims, and I'm saying a very, very small fraction, it is important to remember that this is not the majority of people who go through trauma. This is a small fraction. For them, they can claim that victim identity. And they don't do it because they want the attention or they want people to feel bad for them. They do it because that's who they have been since they were a child, and that becomes who they are. The same way as if you have depression from a young age, you might find as an adult, you don't know who you are beyond that depression. Some of them don't know who they are beyond their abuse. And because of this victim identity, they feel like they're always the victim, no matter what they do. And if they do something wrong, it's because they were abused. Or they're not doing anything wrong. People are misconstruing it badly and people are now harassing them. And again, they're the victim. And they're not doing this on purpose. They're not doing it calculatively going, oh, I'm the villain now, but I'm going to pretend to be the victim. This is what they actually believe. They believe that they are the victim even when they're not, because that is who they believe themselves to be at their very core, is a victim of everything. So when Nan says that they had a messed up view of sex, or they didn't understand, or they must have thought that it was okay, but they don't think it was okay now, that sort of stuff, I believe them, but it doesn't justify them. I believe that they feel like it's not their fault, and that they didn't do much wrong. I believe that they believe that. But like I said in my last video, there comes a point when you need to take responsibility for your actions and say, I am being the bad guy. I was the bad guy. I'm doing terrible things, or I have done terrible things, and I'm going to make an effort to not do them again. And I'm going to take responsibility, and I'm going to actually apologize and mean it and make amends. And that doesn't mean I don't want people to hate me. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm in trouble, I need to say sorry. This means owning up, taking whatever comes to you, even if that means going to prison for whatever you've done. Not specifically for Nan, again, just for anybody this has happened to. And just accepting that is who I was. It's not who I'm going to be. I've done that in situations. I have been the bad person, not to this extent by any means, but I've done stupid things. And for a while I thought, well, I didn't really do anything wrong. I made excuses for myself, but that's not actually okay. So I've accepted my wrongdoings. I have apologized. I've accepted whatever comes out of that, whatever consequences there may be, and I have made an effort to be a good person. Psychology and the brain are very confusing things. Whereas one person might go in one direction because of something they experienced, somebody might go in a completely other direction. It all depends on your environment, your genetics, what happened to you, what your trauma was, if you had any trauma, what support systems you had, what you were already inclined to be like from birth. All of those things, they matter, and they result in many different variations of people with their own problems or with their non-problems or whatever it is. It may be hard to accept that somebody that you've looked up to or you've idolized or you've been a fan of for a while has done bad things. But you need to accept that because that's what happened, and they won't accept that unless you do. Again, like I said in my last video, these are reasons, they are not excuses. I think that was enough for one video. I'm gonna leave it here. If you want a part 2 on this or want, to delve deeper into the whole trauma stuff, then I can definitely do that. Just let me know in the comments. And this is where I want to ask you guys about what I mentioned at the start of the video. I have a lot of new people on the channel now, and I really want to know what kind of videos you want from me. Really, honestly, truly, please tell me what kind of videos you want, because I will keep updating on this story and on the whole Team Pinata situation or Dissociated, or maybe even little bits about Trish Paytas, because I had some videos planned on her anyway. But I can't keep doing videos about Team Pinata forever, which is, obviously how you all found me. So if you want me to continue to just do commentary on what different YouTubers are doing, I can definitely do that. I really enjoy doing that. And I would want to do that. But I know a lot of you guys are probably fans of Dissociated. And probably none of you, except for the subscribers I had before this, know that last year, around May, I think, I uploaded a video talking about my own experiences with mental illness. I have since unlisted that video, so it's not private, but you can't watch it without a link, because it got a lot of support on it, but I just felt like people didn't want to watch that, and I was already trying to change up my content from gaming to commentary, so I just unlisted it. But I don't know if that's something that you guys actually would want to watch. If it is, I would be really happy to do that. I love talking about psychology. I'm so fascinated, and I've just been into it since I was a kid, so I just thought maybe since a lot of you are Dissociated fans, you might actually want to watch that from me. But if you just want to watch commentary and that's why you subscribed, then that's completely fine. I'm not going to be offended. Just let me know, because I really want to know what you guys want, because there's so many of you now. It's scary. Anyway, that's going to be all for now. Again, thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to do this because I have videos recorded from ages ago, but I'm not putting them up just yet. I used to do this all the time and then I keep forgetting, but the comment of the week this week is this comment right here. So thank you so much for that. And if you would like to be the comment of the week next time, all you need to do is leave me a comment on any of my videos. That's just how this works. And of course, subscribe, bell, share, do things, and have a wonderful day. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.